My name is Ethan Carter, and for almost 5 years, I worked the night shift as a security guard at St. Mary's Hospital in Ohio. If you've ever worked security, you know that most nights are painfully boring. I usually spent my shift watching cameras, walking empty hallways, and drinking way too much coffee just to stay awake. I never believed in ghosts, not once. In fact, I used to laugh whenever nurses shared creepy stories during breaks. There was one story everyone seemed to know. The third floor. Apparently, back in 2004, there had been a fire. Nobody died, at least officially, but the entire floor had been shut down ever since. No patients, no staff, no electricity, nothing. According to maintenance records, the elevators didn't even stop there anymore. People still claim they heard footsteps above them late at night, but I always assumed they were imagining things. Until October 17th. It was raining hard outside. Around 2:13 in the morning, I was sitting alone in the security office watching the monitors when my radio suddenly crackled. At first, I thought another guard was trying to contact me, but then I heard a woman's voice. Very weak. Very quiet. Security. Room 312. Please hurry. I froze. Room 312 was on the third floor. My first thought was that someone was messing with me. I grabbed the radio and asked who it was, but there was no answer, only static. I checked the employee list and patient records. Nothing. Nobody should have been up there. Still, I couldn't ignore it. I grabbed my flashlight and headed upstairs. Since the elevator didn't stop on the third floor, I had to use the stairs. As soon as I opened the door to the abandoned floor, something felt wrong. The air was freezing cold. Dust covered everything. Old wheelchairs sat against the walls. Broken signs hung from the ceiling. It looked like nobody had stepped foot there in years. I slowly walked down the hallway until I reached room 312. The door was slightly open. My heart was pounding as I pushed it open with my flashlight. The room was empty. No furniture. No hospital bed. Nothing. I almost laughed, thinking someone had played a stupid prank. But then I heard footsteps behind me. Slow. Heavy footsteps. I spun around, but the hallway was empty. Then a door slammed shut somewhere in the distance. My flashlight flickered once, twice, and suddenly went out. After smacking it against my hand, it finally came back on, and for just 1 second, I saw someone standing at the end of the hallway. A woman. She was wearing what looked like an old nurse uniform. She wasn't moving. She was just staring at me. I blinked. And she was gone. At that point, I wanted nothing more than to leave. But suddenly my radio came alive again. The same voice. This time clearer. Please help him. I stopped. Help who? I asked. There was no answer. Then I noticed room 318. Its door was slowly opening by itself. Every instinct in my body told me to run, but curiosity got the better of me. Inside the room, I found an old patient file lying on the floor covered in dust. I picked it up and read the name written on it. Daniel Harper. Age 9. Admitted in 2004. And underneath his information was a word that sent chills through my body. Missing. Not deceased. Missing. Suddenly, the lights in the hallway flickered on for a second, and standing outside the room was a little boy. He had pale skin. He was barefoot. And he was wearing a hospital gown. He looked directly at me and whispered. She couldn't save me. The lights went out again. When they came back, he was gone. I ran. I don't mind admitting it. I ran faster than I ever had in my life. I slammed the stairwell door behind me and didn't stop until I reached the security office. I was shaking and covered in sweat. I checked every camera, but nothing appeared. No movement. No signs of anyone. The next morning, I mentioned the name Daniel Harper to one of the older nurses. The color drained from her face. She asked me where I had heard that name. When I told her about the file, she nearly dropped her coffee. According to her, Daniel Harper had disappeared during the fire in 2004. His body was never found. And one of the nurses who tried to save him had died from smoke inhalation. Her name was Rebecca Miles. She worked on the 3rd floor. The same floor I visited. And the same woman I had seen standing in the hallway. I quit my job 2 weeks later and never returned to St. Mary's Hospital. But the scariest part happened 3 months after I left. One night, I received a phone call on my cell phone. No caller ID. I answered. For a few seconds, there was only static. Then I heard the exact same weak female voice. Security. Room 312. Please hurry. And the call disconnected. I changed my number the very next day. But sometimes, around 2:13 in the morning, I still wake up to the phone.